Hey everyone, welcome back to Empathic Chronicles. I'm your host, Tiffany Elise, and today's episode is a really special one. I turned 40 over the weekend. It's crazy how time flies, but I have to say, I'm feeling more at peace, more grounded, and more excited than ever before about this next chapter of my life. I know I've shared a lot of my story with you all, my journey, the highs, the lows, the deep moments of reflection, but now I feel like I'm turning over a new leaf. This podcast is shifting a focus to be more positive in nature. I want to explore lifestyle topics, cooking, because I get a lot of feedback on my social about the things that we cook up in our kitchen. I'm very much into cooking and just creating recipes from scratch. Parenting teenagers, as you know, I have two. So, just basically living life to the fullest, because we only get one life, so we only get one opportunity and we have to make the best of it. Today, we're kicking off that new direction by talking about what it means to embrace 40 with open arms. So, let's dive right in. Grab your cafecito and a seat and let's talk. So, for me, turning 40 is not just a number. It's a whole new vibe. I feel like I'm stepping into this new decade with so much clarity. Gone are the days of self-doubt, even though it's something that I struggled and have struggled with for most of my life. I'm learning how to be more confident and less doubtful. I've learned to truly love myself, to embrace my flaws, which I have many, and to honor my journey, because it is one with highs and lows and everything else. Isn't that what life is all about? Growth, acceptance, and ultimate evolution. So basically, I'd like to say that I'm practicing a growth mindset. I want to talk about what this new decade means to me and why I'm feeling more positive, more empowered, and yes, even more excited about the years ahead. Embracing 40. When I was younger, I used to think 40 sounded, old. But now here I am. I realize it's just the beginning of a whole new chapter. I'm more confident in who I am, I feel like. I'm more selective with my energy, and I'm more selective definitely with the circle that I keep, because I am ready to focus on the things that bring me joy and do the things that bring me joy. That's something that for me, I want to grow habits, healthy habits, doing the things that bring me joy, and try out new things that could potentially bring me joy as well. And I, as always, I'm always thinking about the next person, and I really want that for you too. So if you're near 40 or already, at 40 or know someone who's turning 40, let's celebrate this phase of life together. This is a time for us to shine. We're smarter, we're more resilient. What do they say? You grow older, you grow wiser. I fully believe that. And we know now, and maybe in comparison to the past, we know what we want out of life. So it's time to stop worrying about fitting in and meeting the mold, and start focusing on what really makes us happy. For me, that means diving into lifestyle changes that nourish me physically, mentally, and emotionally. Now, whether that's starting my day with a gratitude practice, taking care of my body by eating healthier, or setting new goals, I am determined to make sure that my 40s are filled with joy and intention. I definitely want to be more intentional with my time. So how can I incorporate lifestyle changes and goals for this next decade? So what are I guess we should start with me saying what some of the lifestyle changes I am making since I turned 40. And I mean, it's only been all but 3 days, but for starters, I am prioritizing my health in ways that work for me. For example, like I've always loved cooking, and now it's become a way to not only nourish my family and myself, but to experiment with new recipes and just overall like have fun in the kitchen. I know something else that I am practicing is my sobriety. So, and when I say sobriety, I mean like drinking wine. For me, that's always been something that I've gone to, after a long day of work or, and I'm being vulnerable opening up here, but I realized over time that I wasn't necessarily drinking wine for the right reasons. My birthday came and went and I didn't hear from my mom, which was always really hard because like every daughter, I wish that I did have a good relationship with my mom, but I don't. And I noticed that when I would drink wine, it would almost be to like numb the pain of missing her, or just numb the pain of the things that happened to me growing up. And now I'm at a place where I've turned 40. I'm at peace with what happened. I understand that these things that happened made me who I am today, and I want to use that in a positive way to push forward. So you can expect to hear more about that in future episodes, but I'll be sharing some of the habit changing practices that I'm making and using. Some of my favorite dishes. I would love to I wish you could smell, food through the microphone, but just tips to making cooking enjoyable, even on busy days. And honestly, turning 40 has also given me the chance to step back and ask, what do I want this next chapter to look like? And spoiler alert, say that 5 times fast. It's going to be filled with self-care, quality family time, and chasing my passion. I have been for several years trying to finish a book that I'm writing, and I recently saw a friend of mine publish her book, and I'm so incredibly happy for her. And I definitely want to do the same, just because I feel that it would also be a way for me to heal by telling my story in the form of a book and kind of leaving it on paper, if you will. As you know, I'm a parent, and I am a parent of teenagers. So let's talk about parenting, especially parenting teenagers in your 40s. Now, I have 2 incredible sons who are at the teenage stage, and let me tell you, it's an adventure every single day. I'm learning so much from them as they grow, and sometimes I think they teach me more than I teach them, especially when it comes to emotions and mental health. I feel like I spent so many years constantly being in a worry state or fight or flight mode. And I'm just so incredibly proud to see my boys truly owning their emotions and truly taking control of the way that they feel and how they react, essentially. So I'm so proud of them, and as a result, you can imagine that I am learning from them. It's a balancing act, giving my teenagers the independence they need while also being there as a guide, because growing up the way that I did, I feel that as a parent, I just want to put them in a bubble and keep them safe and keep them away from harm or manipulation or anything of that nature. But ultimately, that's not positive for anyone, let alone for, children. So, I definitely feel like in future episodes, I want to share my journey as a mom navigating the ups and downs of parenting teens. I want to offer advice, and I want to be inspired by other parents and things that they've tried. So as you know, I grow my social media presence, I definitely want to connect with fellow parents. Sharing funny stories. My boys are so funny, and I think just humor in general really runs in my dad's side of the family, and so I'm very grateful for that. And hey, maybe even bringing in some expert tips along the way. I'm not really sure who my future guests will be on the show, but I'm very excited because just this week I'll be doing an Instagram live. So if you haven't already, please begin following our Empathic Chronicles Instagram page, because we're going to be doing an Instagram live on what it means to break the cycle and be the difference. So I'm really excited about that, and I'm really excited about the special guests that I have that'll be on that show. So more to come on that. Please tune in to our Instagram, Empathic Chronicles. But let's talk about cooking, because I love food. Finding joy just being in the kitchen. Now, I mentioned cooking earlier, but I want to expand on that because it's become like such a huge part of my life. Cooking, and I don't know how you feel, but like cooking, in my opinion, it's like therapy, because there's something so calming about, whether it's chopping vegetables or stirring a pot of something delicious. I feel like it's where I can be creative, unwind, and nourish my family with love all at the same time. And I feel kind of the same way about writing, but definitely something that just keeps me feeling whole. It keeps my heart feeling whole, and it's a really good feeling. So I am working to gather some of the recipes that I've received the most feedback about. And I'm excited to share some of my favorite recipes with you, whether you're a busy parent, a professional, or just someone who wants like quick, healthy, and tasty meals. I'm so ready to share how that is possible. So I am learning and teaching myself a lot about content creation, so that I can get to that point where I'm sharing those things, So look out for those episodes where we dive into everything from like simple weeknight dinners to meals that impress even the pickiest eaters. And I have a few picky eaters. I didn't realize how much fun cooking and being in the kitchen was until I had kids and ultimately started my family. I think that back in the day, like we would go eat out all the time, and we were always trying to pick a new restaurant. And I just realized that not only did that cause us to spend like crazy amounts of money, we would get paid, and just from eating out and paying our bills, like we'd have nothing left. I think that it also brings a sense of home. I feel like when you're cooking in your kitchen and, your family walks in and they smell it, it's just a moment, I don't know how to describe it. It's just a very like homey feeling, and it brings so much joy. I know that from my childhood, the most memories I had that were like the best ones with my mom was when she was cooking, because those are things that I always remember. She would cook like right when she got home from her second job in preparation to leave for her third job. So she wasn't home very often, but when she would cook, she would leave food ready on the counter. A lot of the times I had to make the rice because we're Hispanic, so traditionally we have rice with everything. And I noticed that like now as an adult, I'm able to cook and do a lot of the things that perhaps people didn't learn until later on in life because I watched my mom do it. And I was just if there were a few times that her and I were at any rate, in a positive position together, I think it was definitely during that time. So yeah, cooking and being in the kitchen with your family, I think is just something that's super special and it should be done more. And, I also think when it comes to writing, that's something that is super therapeutic to me. I used to do this more often, but I haven't done it in a while. Like drive out to the beach for the sunrise and just sit on the sand with my book, just writing. Writing for me has been super therapeutic for the majority of my life up to date. I feel like I've truly been able to connect on a deeper level with other people who have heard my story or just getting deeper and more intimate, perspective wise for myself. Feeling the feelings that I'm feeling. Therapy has taught me a lot about writing because of the importance of just getting out what it is that you feel onto paper. I think that it does make a difference. There is some feeling of like disconnect once you put it on paper and kind of, take that paper and do whatever else you want to do with it, or ultimately record a podcast about it like I am. But writing has been super therapeutic. I get so caught up, and I don't know about you, but I feel like I am a professional overthinker, or at least someone who thinks too much about things versus just truly looking at them at face value and not worrying so much. Writing has helped me gain that experience to function that way and to have that perspective, because I feel like ultimately what matters is your happiness, and you only get one time or one shot at this life. And let's face it, I don't want to be a Debbie Downer. I don't want to be, depressive Deborah like my entire life. I do want to be a positive Patty. I do want to take the stories that have formed my life and ultimately, create a positive ending out of them. And if it just impacts like one or two people, I'm super happy. But I don't do my story or my podcast or my writing for pity or sympathy. I do my podcast because I not only want to share my story, but I hopefully want to reach someone who's had a similar upbringing, a similar situation, and connect with them on a deeper level so that they can gain the strength that I now at 40 am just now gaining. Because let's be honest, it could have afforded me a lot of good lives, good years, had I learned, the coping mechanisms and the redirectional behavior, and just, the PTSD therapy that I go to, the EMDR therapy, regardless of whatever it is, we have to take care of ourselves physically, emotionally, and mentally. So I feel like it's all encompassing, and it's something that is super important, especially when you want to move into the next phase of your career. Like, who wouldn't want that? So I think it's important to tune into what makes you feel whole, tune into what makes you feel happy. Screw the naysayers, screw the people that don't know what they're talking about. You do you. And as long as you are not in a position to hurt anyone or anything like that, you can do it. I know you can. I definitely know you can. So before we wrap up today, I want to take a moment to thank all of you who have been with me through this journey. As I turn 40, I'm setting up new goals and new achievements that I want to reach. And I don't know about you, for those who have turned 40 already or those who are getting close to doing so, I just feel like this incredible sense of renewal, and I want to bring that same energy to this podcast. So we will be talking about lifestyle, positivity, definitely positive, because we always should be positive. I mean, not everything is happy-go-lucky, sunshine and rainbows, but we can get as close as we can so that it could bring out the best in our days. So positivity, growth, and of course, we'll have fun along the way, right? Because we always do. So if you're ready to embrace life with more joy, more purpose, and a fresh perspective, stay tuned for what's coming next. I want to thank you so much for listening. And remember, we're not just aging, we're thriving. So don't be hard on yourself. Don't overthink the situation. You are doing just fine. You can always be doing better, but so can everyone else. But take what you've brought to the table at face value so far, because it is going to take you even farther in life. And I'm a firm believer in that. So until next time, this is Tiffany Elise signing off with extra love and light. Thank you so much for listening to another episode of Empathic Chronicles. I am your host, and I can't wait to share additional episodes with you to turn this new leaf and just start more on a positive path. If you haven't already, please head on over to Instagram and follow my Empathic Chronicles Instagram page. I also would encourage you to definitely check us out on every platform where you listen to your podcasts, and share the word. Like, share, this podcast with someone who you think could benefit from it. I'm very much a mental health advocate and just an advocate for healthier living. Right now, most focused mentally and emotionally, but ultimately with aspirations of living better physically too. So I am so grateful that you've been here today with me, and I'm excited for the episodes to come. And thank you so much for your time, and I look forward to the next time that we are together for another episode. Have a good one. Bye.